2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ancient Assyrian Props and Costumes. I'm Donald Barker. Today we'll be talking about Ancient Assyrian King Shawls. The Ancient Assyrian king had quite a few different outfits, especially over the thousands of years of the Ancient Assyrian civilization. But here we're not going to go in a chronological order. We're going to go in an order from smallest shawl to the larger shawls. So you've got a hunting shawl, that's the smallest of the lot. And what you see me wearing right now is what a hunting shawl is, if you may. So what you have here is a piece of material that's 2 cubits wide and 1 cubit high. So I believe that this particular king's shawl, the small hunting shawl, would have been actually folded in half. So the original size of the fabric would have been 2 cubits by 2 cubits, and then fringed all the way around. What happens is when you half it, it becomes perfect for you then to put a piece of tie cord in, tie it up as I have here, and then make it come down the sides. So to give you an idea of the size of the material that I'm talking about, you've got about 2 cubits that way and 1 cubit down the length. So this, in essence, would be the size that we're looking at to go around a king's ancient Assyrian hunting shawl. But what I believe is that the actual piece of material, this piece of material is linen, and it will get made into some hunting shawls. I believe the piece of fabric would have been a square, 2 cubits by 2 cubits, and then folded, fringed, and then folded originally, and then that would have been wrapped around, tied together, and held into place also with your broad belt and your narrow belt on top of that. These hunting shawls, why I'm calling them hunting shawls is because what you see in ancient Assyrian art is a lot of the noblemen, like the Sultanos, the crown prince, the other eunuchs that were in very, very high positions, like the Rav Shek or the Share Sheri, they all had hunting shawls like this, and I believe that this is to stop the actual tunic from chafing when they're riding the chariots up against it. So this is the smallest, and also probably one of the most lavishly decorated as well. As you can see here, I've got some big king shawls, and there seems to be three different types of wearing ancient Assyrian king shawls. We're talking about the really large ones, and you've got what I like to call the less formal style, which you see in a lot of Ashur Nasr's reliefs. And to give you an idea of the size of the fabrics we're talking about, show me what you want. So here I've just pinned it. You can see it's just got a pin. And what I've done is as you fold saris, up, I've folded it and then pinned it together so the folds stay together. Now, if you take that corner, and you can get an idea of the length of the 2 cubits, and then the actual length of the piece of material. So you can see these are statements of royal power. And what I mean by that is the amount of fabric is excessive. And not only that, but these would have been decorated with many fine decorations. And some of the historians have suggested that some of the decorations were actually made out of sheet metal and individually stitched on, say for the borders or even on the rosettes. So they were extremely beautiful and extremely lavish items. And here in this case, I've got my shaggy fringe on that. And the way you start is actually, Shem, if you don't mind, folding it the other way. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is always start with your left hand. This goes even for the soldiers' outfits when you're using the wraparound shorts. But what you do is you start with your left, and here I'm going to tuck it under my narrow belt. We can get that. Now, what needs to happen is you wrap it around. Yeah, wrap it around, and then come up and over the shoulder. So now I can't see myself in the mirror, but get that over my shoulder. Yeah. No, it's not. No, it's okay. So just throw it over my shoulder. Yeah. Gather it, throw it over. Take the. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now I've gone and checked myself out in the mirror. And as you can see, I've just adjusted it a bit, so it goes around my back a little bit nicer, and then comes around a little bit nicer, and then goes back up over the shoulder. So just to give you a recap, we started on the left hand side, went back, took the material behind me, around the front, and then back and up over the left hand shoulder. And the reason why I think the Assyrian kings would wear this on a, say, daily basis, so part of their casual wear, is because it leaves the ability for you to still be able to wear a shawl and have a sword actually hanging off your side and not interfering. Whereas with other types of Assyrian shawls, as soon as you close the left arm up, you don't have the ability to be able to carry weapons on your person anymore, especially hanging off straps to your left hand side. Now here, as you can see, I've got plenty of space to be able to put my double daggers in and even a whetstone. So there's ample room here, and you could tuck them inside the belt, or you could tuck them inside the narrow belt. I've seen both. There's another thing that you see is sometimes what they do is they tuck this fringe back under here, and when you give that a good crease, okay, that fringe will stay backwards as well. So you see that, and there is another version of this which is a little bit wider, and that, instead of placing it here on your left hip, starts off from your shoulder. It goes all the way down, comes back, and then wraps up over your shoulder. And I'll show you how to do that one as well. So here you go. This is the ancient Assyrian King shawl, or one of them. So I've showed you the hunting shawl, and now this is the second one, the more common one on King Ashurnasirpal II's palace sculptures. We'll start with the next, which is basically the same style as what you saw before, but from the shoulder. And just to give you an idea of the size of these fabrics now, this is what I like to call the grand shawl. And here you can see these pieces of fabric are enormous to wrap around you. And it's imperative that you know how to wrap these shawls around you so that they stay in position. And we have archaeological evidence of fibulae and also pins out of bronze. So we know definitely they will be pinning certain folds and creases into place, and also using the fibula to keep things into position. So don't be afraid to pin shawls into place. Now, as you can see, this one has elaborate border, and it gives you a different flavor. Come around. This piece of fabric gives you a different flavor when you look at it this way. And here we can start off. So what we do is we put this side over the left, like that. So as you can see, this one is actually shown in Ashurnasirpal's, King Ashurnasirpal II's reliefs, where he's actually sitting down and having having a cup, a tarara of wine. And come around, yeah. Now you need to gather up that side. So if you want, hold this side, and I'll do the folding on that side. Okay. Yeah. So here, for example, you need to gather it up. Okay, and now we've got these folds here. Okay, and now this one has to get. That's right. There you go. No, wait. Oh. Here you go. So I've just checked everything out, and as you can see, here we have the grand shawl, and I think this one is a little bit more elaborate, a little bit more formal than the last one that you saw. So that's why I'm saying the other one was more everyday wear, something that's relatively light and easy to wrap around and carry. This one's twice the width. The only difference with this is you still start off with your left, but you wrap it. You place the corner of the fabric over your shoulder, and you come around the back and up and over your left shoulder again. And again, you could still wear a sword coming out of this section here. So this is, for example, what it would look like from this angle, and we also still have the opportunity to be able to put our double daggers on this side. And in this position is another position that you see. So here you go. That's the grand shawl version. And after this, we'll show you the sacerdotal version as well. So we'll get to that soon. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's come to the time where I'm going to show you how to wear the ancient Assyrian sacerdotal clothing, ancient Assyrian Kings sacerdotal clothing, which is a way that they wanted to be remembered, particularly in their steles that they placed in foreign lands that they had conquered. So they would go to a foreign country after they had conquered the territory. They would leave a memorial of the king, and 9 times out of 10, or 80% of the time, let's say, they would be wearing ancient Assyrian sacerdotal clothing. These steles, you see them, Ashurbanipal's got them, Asad-Hadun's got them, Sankhera wears it, Tiglath wears it, Ashurnasirpal wears it, Shamshi-Adad doesn't. He wears a basic tunic in his one, and so does his son, Adad Nirari as well. The third. So other than those 2 steles that I've seen, the rest are all, generally speaking, wearing the ancient Assyrian sacerdotal clothing. Even Tiglath-Pileser, there is a relief of Tiglath-Pileser, Takulti-Ninurta in the Middle Assyrian period, which, as far as I know, is the first scene that we see on an altar where there's two figures, one of him standing up, the other one kneeling down in front of the symbols of divinity. I believe it's mystical, supposedly. So, yeah, this is that item of clothing. Now again, the large shawl that I showed you before and this one is the same size. You can see the huge dimensions of the pieces of fabric. And the only difference is this one's got a string tied stitch to the middle of it. Now what you do is you fold this side down in half, and then this cord will go over your right shoulder as so. But before we do that, I'd just like to tell you what's happening on the other side. Now, what you've done is you've folded it over on the outside halfway. So you can see there you get half that distance on that side, and over here it's a full half fold. So it leaves you with a diagonal. Now, yeah, let's get started. So, let's hang on. Probably be easier if I take my cap off. It's okay. Let's try it. Okay, put that over. Yeah, that has to go over. Yeah, over. No. Zaşamıyor. Eğilirse gerek dapşas var. Okay. Go around. Yeah. So you can see. Hang on. What I've done is I've locked my hand like as if I'm holding the fabric, and this cord is down as well, relatively high up. You know. And now I'm just going to roll into it. Okay. And now I'll hold that while my eunuchs, usually you see two eunuchs with the king, and I'm just about 100% certain. Hang on, just let me twist it. Give this a couple twists before we put it in. But they would have been regular helpers of the Assyrian king getting dressed, for sure. Okay. We got that. Yeah. Just make sure it's under my arm. So as you can see, hang on, hold that from the front. As you can see, you can see where the cord has gone. Now, go ahead, wrap that again. Wrap it again. Yeah. Wrap it nice and tight. So now you can start to see that ancient Assyrian sacerdotal clothing. Now it might not be the favorite of many people, but this is the way that the ancient king, our ancestors, our ancient kings wants to be remembered. And here, this gives you a chance to actually get an understanding. Here, you still have room for your dagger, but you do not have room to be able to hang a sword here, which is why in one particular sculpture of Shalmaneser, you see him holding his mace and the sickle sword as well. So the sickle sword obviously don't come with sheaths. It's highly unlikely that they came with sheaths, whereas the straight swords did. And that sickle sword is perfect for carrying, so that you're still armed as a king and you have your double daggers, even though you're in the sacerdotal clothing and you're not able to actually strap anything and have something hanging down on your left hand side. So here is your ancient Assyrian sacerdotal clothing. What they did, give it a click. That's it. All I need is my clothing. These guys were decked out. He's got a mace, which is a scepter in the left hand, the sickle sword in the right, and the double daggers you see tucked into the broad belt. And now if Shami puts my sling back over my shoulder.
You said it was wrong.
No, I didn't. Yeah, fix my head. Yeah. Okay. So now I've got my mace in this hand, my sickle sword in this one, and I'm ready now. So this gives you an idea of what the clothes looks like from this side and from this side. And from the front. So we've got it.